Hello, my name is Christopher Petrosian. This is not MTV Cribs, but this is developmental effects of lead exposure exemplified in school. So, what is lead? It is a naturally occurring toxic metal, Pb, as it's listed in the periodic table. It's drilled from mines and historically was used for a range of purposes, including makeup, paint, and even gasoline. The dangers of this metal have somewhat been alluded to historically, yet widespread use was the norm. Major developments within recent times have changed how we understood the risks of lead and how we interact with it. And so exposures at even small amounts can have lasting health complications. And this is a quote from the FDA. There is no known safe level of exposure to lead. And so exposure is cumulative and can go unnoticed. Therefore, all this means there's strong oversight to limit, but not completely block exposure, as that's not necessarily always possible. How are we exposed? Lead's historical uses in child, cosmetic, and household items presented, very invasive uses of it. However, typically that's not the case nowadays. However, environmental exposures within communities such as the soil and dust very much is. And a key element of that used to be leaded gasoline. Another facet of exposure would be tainted drinking water, which can be caused from a few different things, but the main areas or things would be faulty pipes and nearby industrial activity. And lead paint was also a common point of exposure. There was a 1978 lead paint ban. However, many old homes still contain this lead paint. And smoking, occupational exposure, in addition to exposure to items that still nowadays contain lead, such as certain hobbies, jewelry, particularly older jewelry, and even some foods. What are the health effects of exposure? Exposures to even small doses can cause damage, long-term damage. Children are more susceptible to these irreversible effects as they develop. Neurological damage and cognitive impairment has been noted, and in children, like I said, their development can be greatly delayed. Exposures can happen even before a baby is born, and depending on the stage of exposure could indicate what symptoms the child may face. In addition to this, it's been noted that there's also damage to the nervous system. How does exposure affect a child's education? Very much so. It will completely change how they go about things generally. Regional output, such as standardized scores of tests, have been noted to have been affected at such a great scale that, whole regions are affected, communities. Cognitive development is also stunted, making just learning in general just harder. In addition to this, and this is key, behavioral and social issues have been noted to arise from exposures, and this causes acting out and isolation within school, further making it more difficult. Now, what is the role of social inequality in all of this? Studies show that exposure to lead slash the risk of exposure is not equal amongst populations and has been noted that it's been noted of the societal factors. Race plays a role as communities often divided by race won't have the same amenities. Segregation was in particular like a good example of this, yet even to this day, it's still relevant. Class and income is also very significant as lower income regions suffer the most. Lead is a dominant social issue that requires a look at social inequality. Finn, thank you. And be careful, lead is all around us. Lord. Oh,